Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're taking a look at a very interesting collaboration of the Megami Device Baselard animation version. Doesn't want to stay in my hands. You may be wondering why it's a collaboration, as it's just another release of the Frame Arms Girl Baselard kit. Now they're just releasing it in the Megami Device line. What's that all about? Well, if you guys have built these kits, then you know that the construction of the Megami Device kits and the construction of the Frame Arms kits is a little bit different. Also, the scale is a little bit different. So this is going to be a little bit smaller scale, as the Megami Device are usually a little bit smaller. They're usually closer to 1/12 scale, where Frame Arms are more like 1/10 scale. And it's also just going to have a little bit different construction of the body and everything, and it looks very nice. So I'm definitely looking forward to checking this one out, and then we'll compare it, see how it compares with the original Frame Arms Girl Baselard. We'll see them side by side, and I wonder if the equipment parts are going to be the same and just the body is different, or if the equipment parts are also new. I'm not sure yet, but we'll find out together when we get the box open. And let me just start off by saying that I know Baselard is not the officially agreed upon pronunciation for this particular girl. You guys may have different ways of pronouncing that. I actually find the Japanese pronunciation very difficult to say. Baselard. It's just much easier for me to say Baselard, so that's what I'm going to stick with. Sorry if that bothers you guys. But as usual, we've got a really nice box art here, where all the colored bits is all in a nice gloss finish, and the background white is in a nice matte finish, so the boxes, as always, feel nice and premium on these Megami Device kits. Really nice new character illustration over here, and then we've got a little bit of information down here on the front. The Frame Arms Girl is a spin-off of the Frame Arms Robot Plastic Model series. This model is based off the 2017 anime variant of Baselard rather than the original 2016 Frame Arms Girl version. Oh, that's interesting, so it's based off the anime version. The build of this model successfully captures the essence of the anime variant while customizing it into a smaller Megami Device build. So there you go. Checking out the side of the box here, you can see it's just the same as the front, but you can get a sense of how deep the box is. So it's a pretty thick box here. On the bottom of the box, you can see what the kit is going to look like, built and painted, front and back, and action pose over here. So yeah, I'm guessing some of the equipment parts, I'm still not sure, but some of them must be new, some of the new equipment parts. Here's a side-by-side comparison, so I guess I don't need to show you. You can see it right here on the side of the box, but I still will later on in the review portion, but you can see it's about 10 centimeters shorter for the head height, and you can see some of the differences just in the body. Instead of these blue parts, it's got like kind of silver parts there, so that's what's going to be the difference of this being the anime version of Baselard, not the original Frame Arms Girl version. And there you can see the unpainted version, so that's how it's going to look straight out the box. Unpainted, still looks quite nice, I gotta say. And then around on the top of the box, here are our face options. So you got some pretty nice expressive face options here for this. Happy, extra happy, and ooh, face. And then for waterside decals, a little bit disappointing. It's just eyes. That's gonna be basically it. And the list price over here is coming in at 6,300 yen, so around $65. And for a box of this particular thickness, that seems right about the correct price, what you would expect for something like this. Again, if you're familiar with these kits. So there's a waterside decal sheet, some nice water slides there for the eyes, but nothing really too much else to see with that. Let's just go ahead and check out the instruction manual, which just features the same artwork there on the front of the box, but you got the full version of that, so you can see all the way down to her feet in this version of the illustration. The logo's there on the back. On the inside, you got some nice reference images here for posing the kit with the guns, with the extra set of arms on the back. It's a really cool design. I do always like the Baselard, and it's easy to understand why it's one of the most popular designs in the series. It's got a really cool theme to the design to it. There is the painting guide up there, and the decal guide, again, it's just for the eyes, so pretty simple, but you can see some nice reference images here for you for where to paint that if you want to go with the official color scheme for that. Alright, let's go ahead and check out the runners. Here's just a quick look at our face options. We'll see those actually on the kit here shortly. As you might expect, as always, the faces look really beautiful. The pre-painting on those is very nicely done, so those look great. On our hand tree here, we've got open expressive hands, closed fists, open resting hands, and holding trigger finger extended hands. Got some parts here for the base, which is just in a nice kind of medium gray color, and our U runner, which is just the parts for the arm of the base. We do have some polycaps here, PCA, for just 9 little A polycaps in gray, and 2 little E runners here just for additional pieces, which are kind of like the back of the neck head sort of part. Runner A is an off-white, very slightly cream kind of color. Here is marked Baselard animation version. Then we have runner B, which is also in white, but this one is a little bit more closer to pure white. I've been looking at these side by side and they are very slightly different. It's going to be kind of hard to see, but even this one doesn't look completely pure white. Then we've got runner C, which is all of our hair parts here, definitely in a more cream color. Runner D is going to be some parts here for the body, and you can see a really nice kind of satiny finish on these parts. Those are going to look really good. Runner E in this very nice pastel-y orangish yellow kind of color. I really like that. Runner F is in this nice molded silver, really cool color here for this one as well. Runner G for a couple little pieces there in white, and runner H, another runner of some parts there in that molded silver. Runner I in this medium gray color is some weapons parts, and I am pretty sure the equipment parts of this are going to be the same as with the original kit, is what I'm seeing on the runners here so far. As we also have runner J here, which actually looks like another different color of white. This one looks like it has a slight bit of like purple tone to it, interestingly enough, and this one does have the runner marking here of FG012, so that'd be Frame Arms Girl number 12, and we got 2 of this J runner. Same color and runner marking here for runner K as well, some more parts from the original Frame Arms Girl version. And then same thing here for runner L, which is in a lighter kind of tannish gray kind of color, very nice. Runner M is back to that pastel-y orangish yellow kind of color like we saw before. It's a really beautiful color here for some more accents again from the original kit. And runner N is some more parts from the original as well here in that medium gray color. Runner O is back to the lighter gray color like we saw on the J runner, some more parts for the equipment on her back. Runner P1, a couple more little orange parts. Runner Q1 is some new hair parts for this. Runner R1, some new parts there in that slightly purplish white color. Runner S1, a few more parts in molded silver. Runner T, some more mechanical parts there in gray. Runner U, some more parts in the lighter gray color. Runner V is some more skin tone parts for this kit, which doesn't have a lot of skin tone parts, basically the upper arms there, like the upper part of the chest, the back, the neck there. Then we got runner W, which is just this one little clear green part here. And finally in white, runner Z is some joint parts. So it looks like there are a fair amount of parts reused from the original kit. It's mostly going to be just her body, which is going to be new for this kit. And taking a look at the runner list here in the menu, you can see there's going to be a few parts left over here and there, but really not all that much left over. All these little gray bits is unused parts. So there's going to be a handful of those. But let me go ahead and get her all put together and then we'll see how she looks. Alright guys, so I got the kit all put together, but I'm going to do the review kind of in a little bit backwards order and start off by showing you guys the base form, or like the unarmored form. Normally I just get to that like at the very end of the review and just kind of focus more on the armored form, and it would be the focus of this review. I just wanted to show you guys the base form first in this case, because there's not a lot changed. Basically you change the head, you change the lower half of the legs, and then you swap out instead of the bunny tail out the back, we have a different kind of piece, armor piece that we'll add onto her lower back there. But anyway, it's a very cool character design. I always liked the Baselard's design, and in this little bit smaller size, a little bit different proportions from the original version, I gotta say she's looking very good in this new Megami Device animation version. And honestly, so much so that it's almost tempting to get 2 of this kit to keep one in a completely unarmored form like this, and maybe, I don't know, do some other kit bashing or something, and then have one like with the full armor and everything. And you can actually stack up the full armor as well, which we'll take a look at here in just a second. But let's go ahead and get her transformed, and then we'll talk about the kit as a whole. In order to do that, one little quick thing to show you guys is this little bit of equipment that you can plug right here onto her lower back. Now you have a hard point there for plugging this onto a base if you want for just a little bit of equipment, but if you plan on using like the full equipment, then you can't use this at the same time. And the connection of the equipment here is a little bit different, as it has that little bit of extra kind of tab up there at the top, so you actually have this adapter piece that we're going to use. Plug on our adapter piece, and now we can plug this onto her back. And then you can plug your base just straight onto here, onto this bit, or we have this other adapter piece here, which will actually plug up into that little tab right up in there. And then for our base here, which has a couple of points of articulation on that, and you see you can plug this directly into the kit or into just like any hard point, but this will just plug into our adapter piece, which has a ball joint there inside. And once that is on there, it's good to go, except that the kit is going to be kind of heavy on that ball joint, so I think we are going to be a little bit limited. You might be better off using this hard point here, or even this one up here, depending on like the pose that you're going to do. With that said, you just adjust the angle of that a little bit and the kit is going to be balanced on there basically fine. Alright, so let's take a look at the two kits side by side. Obviously the animation version over here, the new one on this side, and the original Frame Arms Girl version. First of all, the base. The original Frame Arms Girl version just has the simple base there, which holds the kit up fine. But as you can see, it's a little bit wobbly, whereas the new one, you don't quite have so much wobble. That's nice. The backpack equipment and all that is the same, just now in different colors. Honestly, I kind of prefer the new colors. The old colors are okay. Those nice pastel violet and blue colors are kind of nice, but I kind of like the grays and metallics of the new version, to be honest. The legs are different. Just the way they connect in is a little bit different, where with the new version they connect below the knee, and with the original version they connect, the connection point is like there in the middle of the thigh. But I mean, basically it's the same amount of leg showing, like you have like the full thigh and then it transitions into the robot legs, and it's the same on both versions. One really nice difference is in the body, where with the original kits you don't have a hip joint here, as in like the stomach section and the hip section there is connected, where with the new kit the stomach section and the hip section are separated, so you have a little bit more range of movement there, I think. Also, another notable difference is going to be in the hair. The back of the hair with the original kit is just one like solid piece. With the new kit it's actually 4 sections of like the back of the hair that comes out of there, so you have much more range of movement with those, whereas the original was just kind of this one kind of like shell piece of hair kind of sticking out the back. So another difference in the head is that with the original version you can't change the angle of the ears. They're just basically plugged in like that, but with the new version they're plugged onto pegs, so you can change the angle of those very easily. And I mentioned about being able to stack up the equipment, and it comes with this adapter piece for that you stick this into the side here instead of like the set of rifles. And I can take this other set of arms from the Frame Arms version, because these parts are all exactly the same, and you can stack those together like that for even more arms, and you could go on and on into infinity, I suppose, but there's something cool that you could do with these. So aside from all the weapons which are just on the kit, the only other real accessories worth noting here are just going to be these option parts here, which are very typical option parts for the legs and the arms, which will basically just give you a hard point on the side of the leg or arm in order to attach pieces onto there. Otherwise, we can basically just skip to the part of the review where we're going to be taking a look at the kit in a few different action poses, because I'm not going to go through like all of the articulation of this kit. Basically, if you've built any other Megami Device kit before, you know exactly what the articulation is like. One nice difference about this kit is that it doesn't have like the shoulder blade parts on the back of like where the shoulder blade parts would be, which on a lot of Megami Device kits, if you guys have ever built any before, you know that those are often popping off if you don't glue them on. In this case, you don't really have those. They're a little bit different in those shoulder blade parts, so you don't have to worry about that, which is nice. Just messing around with the kit a little bit, the only part that I've really noticed that tend to fall off kind of easily is like the long blade parts of like the claw arm. Those can pop off kind of easily. And also the hair parts, the back of her hair, I mentioned how there's 4 sections of the back of her hair. Now with like the rabbit ears, like the armored version of the hair, I'm not noticing that problem, but with the unarmored version of the hair that we took a look at like at the start of the review in her unarmored form, in that form the parts of the hair were falling out of the back kind of easily, but now in this form not so much, so I don't know what the deal with that is. But other than that, pretty standard articulation, everything fits pretty nicely. You have a bunch of movement of course in like her extra arm equipment that she's got there. You got the rifles, 4 of them. Those are super simple in their design and have massive seam lines all the way down those, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but just pretty easy to get rid of those seam lines, I imagine, as they're just kind of very basic like flat designs. They're not really very fancy, and I wish that they had made those with the handles to be able to be folded up into the rifles. The way those go together, this is basically just the gray parts or 2 halves that go together, and then you just put the yellow parts on the top and bottom. So the handle of the rifle is not a separate piece that you could just omit. So you could have to either like cut that off, or I mean, I just wish that they would have designed that in a way that you could fold the rifle handle back for when they're stored up on the shoulders and not in use. That's a little bit unfortunate design aspect of this, or just make that as like a removable part and not mold it together with the actual main body of the rifles. But a very small design flaw that I find kind of annoying. Otherwise, this is a very cool kit. Is it an improvement over the original? I would say yeah, kind of in certain ways. I definitely think that I'm liking this one more than the original, more than I thought I would, because I'm very fond of the original one. And I expected to like it basically the same, but just like color wise, and then just like the small design changes to like the body in just the way that it's molded and jointed, being a little bit kind of smaller form of that, I do quite like. So I definitely really like this. If you already have the Frame Arms Baselard, Do you really want to get this one? I would say it kind of just depends on you. I really like them both, so I would say it's definitely worth having both of them. But if you have one and you're on the fence about whether you really want to get this one, then there's not really that much I guess different about this one that would really make it super worth it. It's only if you're like a fan of the line and you just really want another one, if you're a really big fan of the Baselard design. But as always guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you think about the kit? Is it something that you're planning on getting or not, or have you been on the fence about it, or has this review been helpful for you in deciding whether you really want to get the kit or not? Let me know. And as always, big thank you to USA Gundam Store for making this review possible, guys. You can check out this kit and other Mecha Musume kits and everything else from Kotobukiya and Bandai and all that good stuff at USA Gundam Store. The link and the coupon code for you guys to use will be down in the video description below as always, so check that out. Thank you guys all so much for your support as well, liking the video, commenting, subscribing, that's all greatly appreciated. Until next time, I hope you guys are all having a great day. I'll see y'all later. Bye guys.